In business, we study successful people in a certain area, and then we emulate or copy what they're doing in order to have the same success they've had. It's called best practices. It's why you hire a personal trainer. They have abs and you have a keg. They know something you don't know. They do something you don't do. And so we learn from someone that knows something we don't know because they've actually done it, not have a theory about it. So we learned how to handle money. And we learned that money really is fairly simple. It's just hard to do. There's only about 4 or 5 things you got to do to win. You have to live on less than you make. You need to live on a plan, a written budget. You need to get out of debt, because when you don't have any payments, you have money. Your most powerful wealth-building tool is your income. You've got to learn to save and invest, and you can't do that when you're in debt, don't have a plan, and don't live on less than you make. This is pretty simple stuff, guys. It may be primitive, it may be easy to understand, but it is very hard to do because it has everything to do with you changing your heart and the way you function and the way you live your life, and you live like no one else so that later you can live and give like no one else, because that's the last one. All of our data between people who win with money and those that are generous. Generosity is a key element in people who end up winning with money. Generous people are attractive, selfish people aren't. They're ugly. Attractive people seem to get more opportunities in life. And it's not that financial success allows people to be generous, it's that generosity causes people to be people that are lovable, likable, more than selfish people. And they have a tendency to prosper. It's a pretty easy formula, really, if you think about it. I've met with thousands of millionaires. I can't believe people fall for credit card debt. I can't believe people continue to use these stupid credit cards. The credit card is the cigarette of the financial world. It used to be cool, everybody thought it was neat, and people are catching on that it ain't a good idea. Hello. This is not rocket science, people. Live on less than you make. We all need a good financial planning, clear path. A clear path to go from wherever I am to wealthy. That's financial planning. We're trying to take you from wherever you are to wealthy. Not only getting out of debt, but there's a reason to get out of debt. You get out of debt so that you can retire with dignity. You get out of debt so that you can change your family tree. You get out of debt so that you can build wealth and be outrageously generous. We know you need to be out of debt and have an emergency fund. That's foundational. And we know you need to be investing to be able to build wealth. That's foundational. And we know your mortgage is big, so paying that off, it's foundational. So just the question was how to put those in an order that was practical and applicable that actually worked. And that's where the baby steps were born. And you know, the reason why it's been so successful is because it's a clear path to do whatever it is we're going to succeed at. What are the things I need to do to get to winning if I'm not winning? What's the steps? What's the clear path? We all need that. You're wanting to lose weight? What's the clear path to losing weight? You want to improve your marriage? What's the clear path to improving your marriage? Find a proven process, a proven plan, and then don't try to fix it, because if you already had it figured out, you'd already be there. So don't fix somebody else's clear path, somebody else's process that's already working. I've had friends and relatives over the years that say, I want your opinion about this, and then they go do none of it. So the next time they want to take up my time for my opinion about something, I'm not as available. So when you find something that works, submit yourself to it. I have a friend of mine that is on a weight loss exercise program that is dialed in, and she has lost 65 pounds and is in great shape. But you know what she did? She found their system. It absolutely works, and she's doing every iota of it. She completely bought in. Join the cult. Shave your head and drink the Kool-Aid, right? That's what she did with that weight loss and exercise system, and it's worked. It's exactly what I'm talking about. Why is this hard? Because we all have egos. I'm amazed at the number of broke people who have strong opinions about my investing advice. You live in your mother's basement and you write a blog about how Dave Ramsey's investment advice is wrong. Nobody cares what your opinion is when you live in your mother's basement about finances. What causes poor people to be poor? It is not just lack of effort. It's also circumstances that they're born into. And it's also oppression from the outside, holding them there. It's all three things, and it's all three things in different ratios depending on the situation. Let's take a person who is in Haiti, poverty like no other on the planet hardly, Haiti. So are they poor because of a lack of effort? You have to universally say no. Their poverty is not caused by a lack of effort. Those people are not poor because they're unwilling to work. It's circumstances, by and large, and oppression, secondly, and lack of effort, third, but to a much lesser degree, lack of effort. Another example is I've got a friend of mine in college. He got a master's degree in accounting, and then he took up drinking, ended up homeless. So what's his poverty caused by? Circumstances? Was he oppressed by someone? Did the man put him down? He's poor because of his choices. He's poor because of a lack of effort and because he got addicted. I'm a firm believer in what the Bible says, that the borrower borrower is slave to the lender, because your most powerful wealth building tool is your income. And when you haven't committed your income in the form of payments to everybody else, you can invest it and become wealthy. The average car payment in America today is $503. If you invest $500 in a decent growth stock mutual fund from age 30 to age 70, you'll have over $5 million. Isn't that amazing? And so I've become known for getting people out of debt, and it changes your life. It changes your family tree. It changes your retirement. You can retire with dignity. And getting out of debt in order to invest is the shortest way. It is amazing the number of people in the financial world, whether they're financial advisors, writers, bloggers, whatever they do, that have opinions about money that don't have any money. 3% of the public is where all of those people make their money. They make all their money off wealthy people. And most of the advisors out there won't fool with you if you don't have some money. And so we started teaching people, of course, all these years ago, how we invest. And then as we've met with many, many, many thousands of millionaires over the years, how did they invest? What are they doing? Well, we suggest, and I personally invest in good growth stock mutual funds. And I buy mutual funds that have at least a 10-year track record. The mutual funds that I buy outperform the S&P 500, and they're really not that hard to find. A lot of mutual funds don't outperform the S&P 500. So if you're going to buy that, well, that'd be dumb. Just buy an S&P 500. But I buy mutual funds that outperform the S&P 500, and my portfolio mix that I just outlined is pretty much always beats the market. You open up the prospectus, and there's two little lines on the graph. One of them is the S&P 500. If the mutual fund you're looking at, if that line is below that S&P 500 line, don't buy that fund. Really not that much to this. Have somebody in your life helping you do the investing. All the data says that you'll continue to invest doing that, but when you're out there by yourself with all your theories, and some idiot newscaster comes on the evening news predicting the end of the world, what do? You cash out all your mutual funds at exactly the wrong time, and that's how you pick out when you jump in or out of the market, and that's just dumb. So all the data says a decent portfolio of good performing mutual funds wins. One piece of research shows that 74% of the reason of retirement success is doing it and continually put money in. Year after year, month after month, week after week, out of your check, into your 401k, over and over and over and over and over again. This is how you get wealthy. You do not get wealthy by saving on fees, because fees don't keep you from getting wealthy. I'm a multi-millionaire, and I pay mutual fund fees to my broker. And you know why? Because I need a broker in my life. I need somebody that's an advisor. I know a lot about mutual funds, but I don't pick my own. I let them pick out 4 or 5. I'm not going through 8,000 mutual funds. I have what's known as a life. And let me tell you how I pick mutual funds. About 80% of the choice on my mutual fund, 85%, is based on its rate of return, its track record, something stable. I don't like risk. I like to make money. Risk equals not making money for me. A growth and income fund is also called a blue chip fund. Now, the blue chip is the most expensive chip on the poker table, so that means these are big companies. And so your growth and income funds are large companies. Of the 4 types of mutual funds that I put money into and I recommend, this is the calmest. And so it's your friend when things are going down, in other words. It's your stable. It goes slower than the market up and slower than the market down, because this is stable land. A growth fund is right in the middle. The S&P 500 index fund would be considered a growth fund. A growth fund is companies that are growing. They're kind of medium-sized companies. It's pretty much going to do about what the market does in terms of volatility, but you can get mutual funds that are growth stock mutual funds that outperform the S&P 500. Then there's the aggressive growth fund. These are the small companies, the startups. A lot of tech companies would fall into there. It's going to be much more volatile than the stock market is. So it's going to go up faster than the market goes up, but it's going to go down faster than the market goes down. International funds means that the stocks in it are overseas companies. They're not American companies. By the way, American companies generally outperform other international companies by and large as a group, and so your international fund will be your worst performing of the 4. And so, very simple here. The thing is, do it. People we talk to on the Millionaire Theme Hour that are millionaires, you know how they got to be millionaires? They did it. And they never, when I ask them how they became millionaires, they never say, oh man, I hit the home run. Got this mutual fund, had low fees. They never say that. It never happens. You just have to really stop and go, slow and steady. Actually investing is the way. It's the only way to go. So growth and income, growth, aggressive growth, international. Don't chase the returns. Do not invest money in things you do not understand. You know all these athletes you read about, the NFL stars, and they lost $10 million. You know how they lose their money? Because they give it to someone else to handle, and they don't even look at it. That's how you lose your money. It's your money. You have to understand it. Now, you don't have to have a master's degree in finance. This stuff is not rocket science. You have to understand what the money is going into. And the only way you're going to do that is when you're picking someone to help you in one of those areas. You need someone sitting on the other side of the table that is not a salesperson, but they have the heart of a teacher, not the heart of a salesperson. And so they're selling not by twisting your arm or getting you to buy something that you don't understand. Instead, they sell by getting you to understand what you're doing, and then you choose to do it. It's that simple. So don't put money in things you don't understand. Always use an investment professional that has the heart of a teacher. Don't be afraid to pay some commissions. You don't want to overpay, but that's not the end of the world.